Well, good evening. Don't touch it. You know what I mean, the dial, because you're at SEIU Says, the every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. program for all of Chicago's working people and, bless us, workers around the world. I'm Joanna Misnick, one of the producers. You know me, you see me. And my guest this evening is a very important person to me anyway. Her name is Deborah Folga, and she, with any justice in this world, is soon to be a member of SEIU Local 73.
From
right?
your lips to God's ears, as they say.
We've been, Deborah is why don't you tell them what Option 6s are? Because we're trying to organize these folks into our union, and we've run into a certain amount of injustice that we're here to talk about tonight. What is an Option 6?
Actually, I'm a public service administrator,
Okay.
Option 6.
Okay.
Public service administrator is a category that the state of Illinois has to designate a group of individuals, professionals, who hold certain positions within different departments. It's a very broad category that was established about 10, maybe 12 years ago, and it grouped in a lot of different people with diverse backgrounds into what I call something that's a little harder to organize, obviously.
Yes.
And Option 6 happens to be a supervisor
Okay.
or a manager that deals in the issues of health and human services, or, for example, the Department of Children and Family Services, supervisor at the Illinois Guardianship and Advocacy Commission. They also have this category at the Department of Public Health, Department of Aging.
So these are the folks who oversee the departments that provide human services in the state.
Right, exactly.
And that's why they're called Option 6. They all hold that in common.
Right, in the human services realm, exactly.
Right. And I know that you, what? You decided to form a, I don't know, you have a call. No, you don't. You have a call.
It's your comment question.
Okay, we'll find out what Joe's Joe's on the phone tonight. You know Big Joe Richard.
Question, yes.
He normally doesn't act this way. Okay, so
Comment or question?
I know that a while ago, maybe a year ago, you contacted SEIU and said you wanted to form a union. How can you kind of synthetically tell us what was the motivation of the folks when they did that?
Basically, the issue surrounded the fact that we're going on right now, year 6, with no kind of increase.
None whatsoever.
Of compensation. None. I'm talking merit compensation, because a public administrator, Option 6 is all public administrators, are service administrators are merit comp employees. So we did not get a cost of living increase. We have not gotten any kind of merit increase. And we were sitting around, some of us talking, and we were rather upset. It was 5 years at that time. And I think that in good faith, supervisors and managers of all public service administrators, and I consider us the backbone of the state, because we're the ones that do the nuts and bolts work of supervising, many of us on the front lines around the state. And here we are, no compensation. We were sitting there talking about this because once in a while you go out to dinner and, you vent, whatever.
Absolutely.
And we said, this is enough. And one of the colleagues had seen the international president.
Andy Stern.
Exactly, on a 60 Minutes show. And we knew that...
Andy Stern?
I hope
you get the credit for this.
No, exactly. In 60 Minutes, we were very impressed by what we saw, because what we also said is, look, we don't want a union like one of the other unions that we've had to deal with at the state. We wanted a group of professionals. We wanted to be very, very different. We wanted a union that would talk to us straight, that would tell us this is feasible, this isn't feasible. So
maybe you
Cindy picked up the phone and called.
Just cold call. SEIU.
Cold call.
We're here
exactly.
for you. You
Exactly.
have a caller, Joey? Now are you trying to tell me this? Let's take this caller before he flips. Hello, Joey. Hello, you're on the air. Hello.
Yes, hello?
Hi.
How you doing?
We're fine.
I was calling to ask a question.
And that would be?
Okay, I am disabled, right?
Mm-hmm.
And okay, I'm having a hard time finding a job. Every place I go to turns me down because I'm disabled.
Mm-hmm.
So I was referred to y'all from my brother-in-law. He said he watches y'all every night, so he told me maybe y'all can help me out.
Well, I don't know what show your brother-in-law was watching, because this Channel 21 has so many different shows that address so many issues and problems. So I don't really have a referral for you. Do you happen to know anything?
Actually, the state of Illinois has a department called the Department of Rehabilitation Services.
Mm-hmm.
And if he would like to call me tomorrow, I can get him the phone number where he would be more than welcome. I cannot personally help him because I don't work in that area, but I would be more than willing to go
and
ahead.
How can he reach you?
I'll tell you what. Why don't we give my number to Joe?
Okay.
And if you could hold on, sir, that'll be more than. I will be more than happy to go ahead and give you the phone number.
Okay. So tomorrow you'll call Deborah, and she will give you a referral to a state department where you might be able to get some help. Is that okay, sir?
He's gone.
Okay, he's gone. All right. Keep that in case. So there you were, and you called SEIU, and I think what you're describing is you wanted a union that included you, and it was part of your lives, right?
Absolutely, because we wanted to be the ones that are going to be, as social workers and people in human services, we always talk about empowering the clients.
Exactly.
And we needed to empower ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
We needed a union that would listen to us, that would say, what do you want? What can we do to assist you in achieving your goals?
Right.
And I think that was one of the things that really, really was attracted us to SEIU, because when we sat down with Amber Coulter and Tim McDonald, they really, really listened to our concerns, and they took them back to SEIU and said, we've got this group of people here that has been marginalized in a way, and almost, and I'm not saying that option sixes are the only ones. I mean, public service administrators across the board. And that is what really thrilled us the most, because we're so busy all day long helping clients empower themselves that here's a union that's not going to tell us, well, this is how it's going to be and this is what you need to do and whatnot. So that is what really is the real issue here.
So you
for us.
Heard it here, folks. It's a testimonial to SEIU.
Absolutely.
I'm
Absolutely.
not trying to exaggerate when we're on here every Tuesday.
No, you're not.
Hello, you're on the air.
Good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
I'm not trying to be unsympathetic. This is my question. When you look at the state costs in terms of transportation, education, and health care, and the state is late in terms of paying its vendors and all that, and I think everybody should be paid fairly. But where is the state going to find the money? Everybody want to raise. Well, that's my question. Where are we going to find the money? Where is it going to come from? The taxpayers,
Mm-hmm. Sir, and I'm a taxpayer too, trust me, and I also understand your feelings regarding that. I guess what I'm trying to say, and I don't want to sound dismissive to your feelings or anything like that, but I work extremely hard. And I'm not saying that every one of us are perfect in the state, or every worker works the way that things should be in terms of, going above and beyond the call of duty. There is a budget crisis, and I think that as public service administrators, we acknowledge that. I guess our question to the government is, how is it possible that everybody else who works in the state of Illinois government has gotten a raise, including the legislature as well as the other, constitutional branches will be getting a raise, but except one group of people? It's inexplicable.
Yes.
That's what I think we're saying. I agree. I think many of my colleagues would agree with you that we'd like to certainly see some reallocation of funds, perhaps better funding of some things, perhaps cuts in programs that aren't necessary. I can't answer for all departments, sir, but I think that if you were a working person, and I'm going to assume that you are, because you're paying taxes and you know how hard you work and you know what it's like to see money gone every 2 weeks in your check, can you imagine making the exact same amount as you did 6 years ago, not 1 penny more?
Yes.
Your taxes have gone up, so have mine. I'm guessing if you have rent, or if you have own a home, or have had to put a child through school, or you own, a car, you've had to either purchase something new. Could you imagine your rent, like 6 years ago, costing like, say, $700, and now all of a sudden your rent is now $775 or $800, and you're making the same amount?
Right.
And your child has grown, and now your child is not a 6-year-old eating 1 box of cereal a week. He's now a 12-year-old eating 4 boxes of Cheerios in 3 days. I mean, everything is relative, and I'm not saying that that's not a concern, sir. I think it, as everybody does who's a taxpayer, it has to be better allocated and better spent.
Well, here's I'd like to say 2 things. One is what Deborah's saying is, as far as she understands it, this is the only layer of public servants in the entire state of Illinois to whom this has happened. So we're talking about a complete injustice where one level of employee who was is suddenly not getting the cost of living that everyone else is getting,
right,
and is being nickel and dime to death. There's 2 other points to be made here.
Right, and I do need to say that is the merit comp employee category, because we do have some colleagues who are not public service administrators who perform functions similar to ours, but they're what they call merit comp, and they're not union.
Right, that's, yeah.
And what I'm saying is basically everybody in the state that's a union member has gotten a raise,
right,
except merit comp employees. We're the only ones.
It doesn't surprise me that the folks who are merit comp employees said, aha, we need a union.
Exactly. And
to protect our living standards. When
right,
they can just take and swipe at our living standard like this to use us to put the budget imbalance on their backs isn't fair.
Exactly.
And what needs to be done, I think, it's a great advertisement for a union, for those of you who are out there in public service.
Absolutely.
And you're getting passed over, call us. Deborah will talk to you.
Right. I mean, the other thing that we'd like to also point out too, sir, and if you're still listening,
he'll be there.
When you look at another issue is, I supervise a team of workers, and I have a job. I work for the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services that involves a lot of risk. I don't sleep at night. I take work home every night.
Right.
I work on the weekends. I worry about keeping kids safe. And my particular team, we actually leave children with their parents and try to work with them to keep them safe. So you can imagine what it's like to really be very committed, be very dedicated to the families and kids of Illinois, and
nobody recognizes your devotion.
Nobody gets compensated,
right,
appropriately for it. And then we've got the issue too, and this is obviously a craw on many people, for many people, is you have teams of workers that work for me that make more money than I do.
Right. Another advertisement for a union.
Absolutely. I mean, my workers, they belong to another union, and they've gotten, their 10% raise over the last 2-3 years. They're getting a 4% raise July 1st.
Wow.
They get 2 raises a year,
right,
one for their anniversary date and then one for the, the annual. So I've got workers, getting a raise on July 4th, and
the other thing is that when Deborah and her coworkers come into SEIU, they're coming into a